Hey, what's up guys? So I don't have a project video this week, but I do have a lot of projects that I've made over the years, and because it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, if you're thinking about making something for somebody this year, I've got a list of 11 different projects, and I'll have links to the free plans for all those projects in the description. So let's just go through them one by one. Number one is a blanket chest. I made this in 2014 for my daughter. This was a fun project. It's fun because I like working with moldings, and there was a lot of moldings on this project. And a lot of people all over the world have made this blanket chest or toy chest, and they've sent me pictures, and it's fun to see them. And I know it's one of those things that my daughter will have forever and eventually probably give to one of her kids. Number two is a guitar hanger. This is a simple project. You can probably do this in a day with no problem. Maybe a little bit longer for finishing time, but it's real simple, and it does a great job of holding the guitar. And another nice thing about this project, it uses very little wood, so it's a great scrap bin project. Number three is a chalkboard. This is from 2013. I made this for my kitchen. My daughter and my wife use it all the time. They like to write holiday greeting things on there, keep grocery lists, make lists of homework that needs to be done. It's great having a chalkboard in the kitchen, and this was definitely a fun project. Number four is a really simple project from 2013. It's just a pig-shaped breadboard. I know it's one of these things that seems so simple, and it is, but my wife loves to have them around the house when we're entertaining. She'll put a little cheese and crackers out on one of these pigs, and because they're nothing special and they're so easy to make, I just make them all the time, and we throw them in the dishwasher, and they don't get a lot of special treatment. But I bet if you give one of these to somebody, they'll use it. And I think that's one of the nice things about making things for people. Number five is a headboard, and this is also from 2013. This was a fun project. I made it out of poplar because I painted the project, but a lot of woodworkers out in the world have made this with a lot of different materials. I've seen it in oak, I've seen it in maple, I've seen it painted black. So it's just another one of these fun projects with a lot of miter cuts, and I love miter cuts. Number six is a piggy bank, and this is from last year. And this is another fun project, and it's also one of these things that my daughter, I think, will just have forever and eventually give to one of her kids. I made this using hand-cut dovetails. If you want to make it simpler, you definitely don't have to use hand-cut dovetails. You could just use miter joints, and if you want, you could spline the miter joints, or you could simply use butt joints. But I definitely think there's something special about a wooden piggy bank. The graphic is really easy to make. It's just a picture of a pig, but of course you don't have to use that either. Another idea might be to take a handprint of one of your kids and just use their handprint instead of the pig. And that way, that's another one of those kind of timeless things. Number seven is a project from last year. This is a shaker-inspired flower box. And this piece was inspired by a visit to the Shaker Museum in Hancock, Massachusetts this spring. This is a lot of fun, this project. It was fun to use the lathe to make full-size legs. As you can see, the joinery is really simple. I just used pocket hole screws. So basically, it's a pretty simple project. My wife loves it because she likes to change the flower box according to the season. So right now, she has kind of an autumnal theme in the flower box for Thanksgiving. Number eight is a ping pong paddle and ball holder. I made this using teak and holly plywood, as you can see. And I used teak and holly plywood because I happen to have some of that in the shop here from a job I did years ago. But you could use anything on the background, any kind of plywood. I just had somebody sent me a picture of the ping pong paddle holder that they made, and they used chalkboard paint on the back, and that's so they could keep score. And I thought that was a great idea. So that's something to keep in mind. If you make this ping pong paddle and ball holder, maybe use chalkboard paint, and I just think it looks nice. It was a good idea. Number nine is a simple step stool, and I made this using Garnica plywood. This is one of the first projects I used Garnica plywood, and as you know, I'm a big fan of Garnica plywood now, and the show is sponsored by Garnica plywood. But this step stool is pretty simple. I used a polyurethane, a water-based polyurethane for the finish. But if you're making this for a kid's room and you want to have some more fun with it, you could paint it. You could paint a football on it, you could paint a flower on it, whatever you like. But it's something that I use upstairs in the studio, the art studio, all the time. It's really held up well. Number 10 are the serving trays. I made these this year, and my wife loves these. We used them during the Thanksgiving holiday, and they're a lot of fun. They don't take too much time to build. I think the one thing I pointed out in the video here was to make the jig so you could cut the handles out using a plunge router. Other than that, it's basically 4 miters and a piece of plywood, and then however you like to paint it. If you don't want to paint it, you could always stain it and clear coat it, but they're definitely handy, and I see myself making more of these in the future. Number 11 is a modern bench. I made this last year. I think this was my first major project of 2017. I made it using construction grade Douglas fir that I got at the home store, and I thought it came out nice. I liked it, but I think to make this out of walnut, sapele, or maybe white oak, I think the bench would really look nice then. I might make one design change to this project, and that would be to maybe add a slight arc to the brace at the bottom, because the piece has kind of a Japanese influence, and that might work with it. So if you do make this project, you might want to consider that. And if you do make any of these projects, please send me a picture. I'd love to share them on Facebook. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.